My name is Casper Rene Johansen, and I'm your YouTube philosopher. For some time now, I've been pondering about the concept of nature versus the concept of technology. Which one is better in the long run? Is it technology or is it nature? Which one will prevail in the long run, so to speak? Technology or nature? Philosophy, which is about asking questions. One question leads to more questions. So, in order to answer this question, which is better in the long run, nature or technology, let's dive into the two different concepts we have, nature or technology. What is the concept of nature? That's the first question we have to ask. Later on, we go into the question about what is technology. But what is the concept of nature? And the whole thing about concept, right? Concepts, then it's our language, our human language that made up these concepts. We're the one who used the word nature, not the dogs or mosquitoes and zebras. They don't use the word nature. We do, people. So we kinda, with our language, invented these concepts. And that also means that these concepts have a certain plasticity. They're flexible. They're in a state of flux, right? And they evolve through history. That's why we also, with words, we have something called etymology. And the whole thing about etymology is that it's the history of the words, the history of concepts. And a concept like nature goes way back, very way back. And the word nature itself comes from the French word natura. And we also have the Latin word natura. And this also go way back, and it means something like, when you go way back in etymology, you have something like giving birth to, being born. That's where this natura, nature, the word and concept nature comes from. So it is something, it's etymological speaking, it is something that is created for a specific purpose. It's been that through history. That's the way we thought about this concept of nature, that it is something created for a specific purpose. If you go back to ancient times, there was something that created this nature, this material world that surrounds us. Even outside in the garden, there's can be hedgehogs and birds and so forth. They were created. That's the way we thought about nature in the old days, that they were created for a specific purpose and by something or someone. Mostly it's been God that's created nature. Nowadays we think of kind of nature, it's something that runs by itself, with not any specific purpose in mind. It's just something that is. It's biology. We have nature. We have geology. Something that runs automatic by itself. It seems to have rules to govern them. So they're governed by natural rules, we say. But again, what is it really, nature? It's a concept. It's a concept that man created. Some philosophers might argue that nature doesn't really exist, and it's also something. It's also been something philosophically, historically, that man has been separated from nature. It's not something we generally been part of. That came through history, and much later on with the whole idea of Darwinism and evolution, that man was part of nature and we're involved with it. For most of human existence and human history, we've been regarded as apart from nature, and nature was something created by something, a divinity, a deity that was created to run automatically, and we were kind of above it, beyond it, apart from this nature. We generally, most scientists doesn't take humans out of the natural equation. We are part of nature now. Man is nature, but the whole concept of nature, philosophically speaking, the concept of nature does it really exist? I posed the question here that once you get into it, you get to that it's something that we created with our language. That's my whole idea. Technology is also a concept that we created, like every other concept. We created it with our language. But technology comes from art or craftsmanships. In ancient Greek, there's something called techne, and techne is skill, a certain skill you have to create something like a painting or a piece of furniture or a statue. You're an artsman, you're a craftsman, you know your art, you know your techne. So this technology, the word technology comes from this techne. That means it's art, it's craftsmanship. That's something that we created. It's something that is created. Is the concept of nature and the concept of technology even that different? Are they basically the same in the long run? Material world, all natural things around here, geology, biology, birds, hedgehogs, me, we're not just put there, we are here, forced into the world by something, right? So we are in sense created. Now, technology refers to something that is created. By whom? By us. That's what this technology is. It's created by man. It's a technology, but still, a lot of our technology through history has been based on natural concepts. When we want to build an airplane, we looked at birds that flew in the sky, or other animals that flew, or same also with other concepts that, or same with other inventions. We looked to nature for guidance and inspiration, because there was something created before we could create technology. So again, and if man, that's also the interesting question. If man is the one that does technology, we make technology. We're the ones who created. But who created us? We were created by nature, which in itself, as a concept, is created by something. Or is it just there? And I posed the question early on, does nature really exist? Does it really exist? If nature really doesn't exist as a concept, then we are not nature. We're something else. And then technology, which is created by us, is probably also something else. Make sense? I don't know. This is philosophy. But let's say that, okay, man, something as nature does exist, something that runs automatically, and maybe was created by something, maybe it was not created by something, maybe it's just there, but it runs with the kind of its own rules of governance, natural rules it's run by, like gravity. I pick something up and it falls down, right? It's a natural law. If there's something like a natural law, and we are nature that's here, then man is part of this nature. But if man is part of nature and we create something out here, like technology, a computer mouse, if we create technology, but we're also nature itself, then what is really the difference? Isn't this natural? If you look at the concept that we are nature, we are part of this concept that is nature, and we create technology, we create this, hasn't nature created this? So let's go back to this question about, is there a difference between nature and technology? In a way, it depends on your concept and how thoroughly you go deep into the concept. But in a way, no, there's really not that much a difference. There's been a cultural, historical difference between nature and technology, of course. But if you go deep into the philosophical concepts, are there really any difference in it? I would say this is an interesting question. But man is also something that evolved. That's the general idea now, that we evolved from apes. We had a biological evolution to become man, and now we're here and we create stuff. We fly to the moon. Is that natural? Is that natural, flying to the moon? Some say no. There's no animal out there that can fly to the moon. It's only us people. But were we people not animals? And now we fly to the moon. How can it not be natural? We use our technology, but apes use technology. Not in the same sense, but apes can use sticks to poke. Apes, they use this to look for termites in wood. They use small sticks, and they've been known to use other tools. That's technology, and they're part of nature, right? They're part of this natural process that runs by itself, created by something, right? And we're part of it. So now, of course, when we fly to the moon and use technology, it is nature that's kind of doing this. There's no, it's us with our concept and our language that distinguish this. What is man's destiny in the long run? I don't really believe that we have a destiny per se, but let's imagine philosophically what our future is like. Will we even be here? Will it be a deserted earth from man and there's only nature left? What will happen in the future? Now the whole thing about man having a destiny is something I oppose. I don't believe in this deterministic, that we have a specific destiny, that we're put here to go there. And the only thing that can happen is we go here to there. I philosophically can go along with that. I believe there's much more that can happen here. There's a fluidity, there's a fluctuation going on here. A lot of stuff can happen in this process of, we were here for some reason, or might not be. That's the whole day. Do we have a specific reason? No. I don't think we have a specific reason. I don't know why we're put here. That's why I'm doing philosophy, to try to understand why are we even here. But I know this. That's my philosophy. And I know other philosophers agree with me. We're not put here to go there specifically. We might go there, but we don't know that yet. And that's the whole thing about this process, that you never know what our destiny is, because there is no destiny. Because a destiny is a specific point to go to, a specific goal in the journey. One could say that's a destiny, but we don't have that. I don't believe that. But I can still ponder and philosophize. What is the future of man? Where are we going? I can still speculate. That's of course we can do that. And this is not certainty. Of course it's not. This is philosophy. It's about expansion of our human minds and try to understand stuff. So I can of course think about where are we going. And I don't of course know where we're going. But you never know that. Why haven't we found life in the universe outside our Earth? Why haven't we found life on other planets or star system or galaxies like they have in the movies and scientific novels and so forth? Why haven't we found 100% proof there's life on other planets yet? It could be that we are supposed to spread it. You don't never know. Maybe that we start spreading this, and in 100 billion years there's life on many other star systems because of man. You never know. And that might be a natural way to go about it. Maybe we were created to do this. You don't know. If you ask the question, how will you put life on all the planets that's out there in the long run? How would you do that? Would you put life on each planet? Or will life evolve from one planet and kind of spread to other planets? It might seem plausible. It might seem scientifically plausible to do this, because if you think about it, how did life spread from a single cell organism in a kind of a ancient swamp where the life was created on Earth, and it spread to the entire planet? It's everywhere on this planet, even down in the deepest waters there's life, and in the deepest cave there's life everywhere. How did it spread? Well, start one place and spread outward. Might be the same. How will life expand in the universe? Will it have to spread from somewhere? It might have to be spread from Earth. You don't never know that. I believe this is a plausible future for man, and in order to spread that we have to use technology, and technology is nature. This whole picture here reminds me of Terminator 2, Judgment Day, the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger from 1991. After, you kind of say, post-man, after a war between the machines and man. Kind of looks like a apocalyptic Earth when you see this old car just surrounded by nature. Is it plausible to end up in a technological apocalypse where a machine takes over and kill man? I don't know if it's gonna be. I guess it could be plausible, but it's also seemed like a very good story, and a very way to vilify technology is that technology takes us over, and it's also there in philosophy. If you read Martin Heidegger with his Sign on Sight, and he also wrote an article called "The Danger of Technology." It's also there that there's something the way we use language, and there's something the way we use science that becomes more and more technological. Heidegger actually fears that man becomes equal to technology. We become cybernetic, we become technology itself, and that's a real fear also with AI, and maybe we get implants in the brain. So it's very plausible that we would once be defeated by machines, but I'm not gonna feel it's gonna be like in the movies with a war between robot soldiers and man and robot soldiers win. I think it more be something we don't really discover. We become more and more technological and cybernetic ourselves, and slowly we may be once not what we once were. But that's also evolution. That's the way I think about this. That all these animals you see out there, they hasn't been there from the beginning. For the dinosaurs, there was this gorgonopsid, was a hybrid between mammals and lizards. And after that, there comes the dinosaur. This is Spinosaurus, and Spinosaurus is not here anymore. Now there's man and all the other animals, mammals that's out there now. But they will evolve. They evolved for something and became something else. This might also happen to man. We will not stay with the same biology for millions of years or billions of years if you're still here. We become something else. And this idea of us becoming totally technology, totally cybernetic, this might be evolution of some sort if we become technology. So I think it's plausible that technology would overthrow us and take us over. But that's the way you frame it. When you frame it like that, you vilify it. If you understand it like this, we gradually become more technological, and we will at one point maybe cease to be that biological. It seems like I frame it in a different way, but that's also my thinking here, that evolution comes slowly over long period of time, thousands of years in nature. And again, the whole thing about nature, what is it really? Is it this concept that we created? Probably it is. I don't know if it really exists. Maybe the world is just here. Maybe the world just exists, and it is whatever we call it. And if we call it nature, if we call it technology. Let's just take a thought experiment. This car here, which is already decaying and deteriorating a lot, will it continue to be here in 1,000 years? What would this scene here look like in 1,000 years? Well, if no cars be around here, that will grow grass and vegetation would totally cover this car up. So in 1,000 years, you probably wouldn't even notice this car. It will slowly go down into the ground and vegetation will grow over it. So does that mean that nature wins in the long run? I don't like the framing of that question, because it's kind of like, okay, nature is best, so let's ask the question against this vilification. It's opposite, it's antagonist. We got the protagonist, nature, against technology. Who will win? We want nature to win, because something like love, that's nature, right? And we want love and humanity to win. Is love nature? I thought nature was something like we have chemicals in our brain that tells me, I want this woman out there, and I fall in love with her. That's chemistry in my brain. That's natural. But love, poems, romantic love, is that natural, or is that culture? So that's also a thing. What is culture and what is nature? Does culture comes from nature? You see, I can go on with this. We have to look at these concepts as more fluid and more flexible.